get money twice. I'm from the dirty, but that Chico nice. Y'all call it a moment, I call it life.
On behalf of Sandra and I, we want to welcome everybody to the Florida Keys and the Ocean Reef. Isn't this a pretty cool place? Yes? All right. You guys all look great, and so great to have all of you here.
I'm most excited about is just who we get to build this with. Like, this is chosen family. This is chosen family. Like, everyone that's in GFI right now, everyone that's on this trip, you chose to be here. It wasn't because you landed on someone's team. You chose to be here because this is the best company in the entire industry with the best leadership in the entire industry, and we're going to do something that's never been done before, and we're going to do it together.
Everything we do, we work hundreds of hours a month to build this business for you so that you have everything you need to build the best financial services company in the world.
Building GFI to grow at scale. So everything we do is at scale. Remember that.
Eric and Sandra trademarked the 5 F's. I see a lot of married people in here today. I see a lot of children in here today. And I love that because this thing is all set on the foundation of faith gotta come first.
We're proud and loud to be the building company in the industry, right?
Being around the best damn leaders in all of GFI, that's what I'm excited about. And I'm excited for the next couple of days to be life-changing. I tell you, it's never the location, even though this is a pretty good one. It's always about the associations. I want to challenge you, meet someone you don't know yet that can help you grow your business and identify a running mate.
We don't want agents. We don't want associates. We want partners. We want partners. Who would like to be a partner of GFI? Anybody? All right.
Bad, you know. All right, cut it out. All right. It was coming in very loud and clear, and then shoot, when my camera came on, it got a little muffled there. So don't know what's going on with that music. But hey, appreciate you, me, Lynn, and appreciate everybody getting on here this morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Eric Carter. And if you don't know me, that's my fault and not yours. What do I say that every single time, Frankie? Because you need to build up your own brand. Okay? I want to know who Frankie is. If somebody says Frankie Lomas, I want to know what his brand is. I want to know what he's about. All right. You want to leverage what GFI. You want to leverage Teva Technologies. You want to leverage our product providers. You want to leverage the leadership that you have and training that you're getting here today. But who are you when the cameras are off? Okay. Who are you becoming? How are you getting better in life and in business, in the 5 F's? All right. I heard the great Anthony Resendez say that if your business is lacking, okay, it means, and you've been here for a while, it means that there is a deficiency in your 5 F's. Remember the 5 F's? That's faith, that's family, finance, fitness, and fun. Okay. So you need to get really good at those things, and then everything else starts to come into place as well. All right. So be working on those things. Be constantly working on those things, Steve McMillan. And I promise the life that you are trying to achieve will become more achievable faster. All right. So it is rock and roll time. And you know, being in business now, going on, shoot, in October, I'll be licensed for 27 years this coming October. So coming very, very soon. And you guys, it goes like that. All right. It goes like that. When you are in business and you love what you do and you are making a go of it. You're trying your best every single day to become better, to have a purpose-driven life, a purpose-driven business, okay? It becomes tremendously fun, all right? And satisfying and rewarding. And yes, the incomes can become fantastic, but it's secondary. The incomes are secondary, but it becomes fantastic when you have a purpose-driven business, when you have purpose-driven life. By the way, in my opinion, GFI is the fountain of youth. This business is the fountain of youth. All right, I'm 52, and I feel so fired up. I feel more fired up today than I ever have been. I've always been excited, but I'm more fired up now because of the opportunity that we are in, okay? And it also helps, I got two little ones. I got a little 2.5-year-old on the other side of the wall here, and just dropped off my third grader, all right, at school. It is awesome to be in business, okay, and achieve what? Freedom, okay? Freedom of three things: freedom of time, freedom of income, and freedom of location, okay? So starting Friday, all right, I'm going to be flying with my brother up to Alaska to go on a fishing trip. But guess what? Saturday evening, when we're back, I have an appointment. So I get to do it from Alaska. All right? How awesome is that? This business is fantastic. It is awesome, 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 awesome. All right, let's get to it. All right, so remember this. Even for those of you who are on the East Coast, I guarantee you have heard of In-N-Out Burger. Okay? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, the camera's moving with me here. You've heard of In-N-Out Burger. All right? Why is In-N-Out Burger so successful? Because they keep things extremely simple. All right? What do they sell? Craig Duvall, burgers, fries, and shakes. All right? Burgers, fries, and shakes. With a little bit of animal style here and there. Burgers, fries, and shakes. What do we offer here at GFI? Burgers, fries, and shakes. What's our burgers? Cash value life insurance. Okay? Fixed index annuities. Term LB. With a little bit of animal style here and there with advanced planning. All right? Other companies out there, they're offering just final expense, which we also offer. Other companies out there just offer IUL, which we also offer. Then there's a lot of companies been around forever. They offer participating whole life, which we also offer. Okay? Then there's companies that do nothing but help people who are rich, $500,000 in assets or more. We also offer. Okay? So we are catering to the masses, whether it's a single mom with a couple kids that needs some term life insurance, or the business owner which to put away a couple $100,000 a year into an executive bonus plan, or the soon-to-be or post-retiree who wants to protect their assets, okay, and make sure they don't lose value in their accounts anymore in retirement. All right? So when I talk to people, I tell them, hey, I specialize in pre and post-retirement and tax-free retirement. I specialize in pre and post-retirement and tax-free retirement, okay? And you as a licensed agent, guess what? That license enables you to strive for and become a specialist, okay? And I really appreciate it. I get a lot of compliments whenever I'm out and about and I go to GFI events, okay? There's a whole bunch of people in San Francisco as we speak, brand new executive marketing directors in San Francisco, and I'm going to be training over there tomorrow morning. And I get compliments all the time about how simple I am. I don't know if it's a compliment or not. You're so simple, Carter. All right. So thank you. All right. I really love your training because it's straightforward. Thank you. All right. Now, I appreciate that every single time somebody says it, but then I really appreciate when somebody actually takes action and they utilize what they're learning. Okay. Don't just be learning, learning, learning all the time. You got to start doing, doing, doing. And the faster you start doing, the faster you start stumbling forward, is the faster you start becoming successful. Okay. Now, my team, my business partners and I, okay, and as a whole, Lion Star, we are known to be able to do and close fixed index annuities right and left. Okay. Now, other people in the company also are able to do those. Okay. But we tend to do with our team a lot of them. And I mean a lot. Okay. Because it is such an easy market. It is such a massive market. Write down this number. They've been updating it. All right. $124 trillion. That's going to be passed on from one generation, the older generation, to the next. From the baby boomers down to Generation X and millennials. Okay? Over the next 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years. And guess what? All you need is a license to be able to help people protect that money, to pass on that money. All you need is just one license. That's just a life insurance license. Okay? There's some annuities out there, some fixed index annuities out there that also offer long-term care where you need both a life and health license. And those are very, very attractive to a lot of people. Get this, 90% of us at one time or another is going to need some sort of long-term care, whether it's 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year or longer. We're going to need it at some time in our life. Okay? So long-term care is a huge, huge, huge market out there right now, you guys. Gigantic. Absolutely gigantic. Okay. So fixed index annuities. Let's talk about them. Now, it is crazy to me that 90% of the industry do not know how to obtain and close fixed index annuity clients. And that number is also a GFI. Okay? And if you really want to be able to help your clients in a tremendous way and be diverse in helping your clients, you need to get into the annuity business. All right? You need to do it. Life insurance is by far the most important thing we talk about, but it's not the only thing we talk about. We all know somebody who passed away too soon. We all know somebody became critically, chronically, terminally ill. They could no longer work, but the bills keep on coming in. Okay? And when it was really important to know, I learned about fixed index annuities. Okay? And we'll go over some of the ups. We'll go over the upsides. We'll go over some of the supposed downsides. Okay? Now, I'm old enough to remember. Okay? Maybe that young man, Frankie Lomas, might remember as well. All right? 1985 Corvette. 1985 Harley Davidson. Weren't very good vehicles. And what some of our competitors, actually most of our competitors, try to tell our clients is that the 2027 Corvette is like the 1985 Corvette. And that's misleading at the most, or at the least, I should say. Misleading at the least, or an outright lie. Okay? Because it is not the same. It is not the same. Okay? Now let's talk about it. Some people's like, well, I heard that annuities aren't that good, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Why is that? Well, because when you die, the money goes to the annuity company. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. That's 1985. So you're trying to tell me that I shouldn't get a 2027 Corvette because a 1985 Corvette sucks? How asinine is that? Okay? Tremendously. There's an article out there, all right, that came out in 2010 during the Obama administration. Okay? And man, did it piss off financial advisors. Tremendously so. Because traditional financial advisors want you in the market where they could buy, sell, and trade your money. That's how they make their bread and butter. So, Steve McMillan, if the financial advisor main way of making money is to have you in the market and buy Social Security's licensed. And I make sure to let clients know both positives and negatives. So this article came out a long time ago, and it goes over some of the positives and negatives. But let's look at what the article says. By the way, this is third party. This is not even a financial advisor or an insurance broker. It says this right here. There are also stockbrokers and financial planners standing in the way. Once money goes into annuity, they can't earn commissions from trading anymore and may not be able to charge fees for managing it. Financial advisors have a charming term for this phenomenon: annuicide. You insure and the revenue dies, so many of them will try to talk you out of it. Okay? So yeah, well, my banker says don't put money into annuity. My banker says put the money into the bank. My financial advisor says don't do an annuity. My financial advisor says put the money in the stock market. There's a time and place for all of it. But let me ask you a question. This is a question I asked some of my clients. I said, okay, and make sure you remember it. So Craig Duvall, if we had another market correction like in 2008 where people lost half their money in 90, maybe 120, maybe 200 days, they lost half their money, and it took them 3, 4, 5 years to get it back. If we had another market correction like that, how much of your hard-earned retirement would you be comfortable losing value? None. Okay. Let me ask you another question. If I were to show you how to be able to get guarantees on your money without sacrificing growth potential and potentially also have zero fees, you seem like maybe the type of person to jump all over that. Some of you guys are just looking at me, all right? Because I don't have it on the PowerPoint. Let me say it again. If I were to show you how to be able to get guarantees on your money without sacrificing growth potential, along with potentially having zero fees, I don't know, Steve. You seem like maybe the type of guy to jump all over that. Let's see if you qualify. Okay? Piece of cake. Piece of cake. All right? Now, how do I get so many annuity clients? How do I get people opening up to me their financial situation almost right away? Okay? My good friend Sean Frozen seen me do this many times. My teams have seen me do this many times. Okay? I say, okay, Steve, I've been doing this for close to 27 years. By the way, we have 7 years, 27 years, 7 months, 1 year, whatever it is. Okay. I specialize in pre and post-retirement strategies along with tax-free retirement strategies. What brings us together today? What can I help you with maybe? Set the stage, Frankie. You got to set the stage. All right? Set the stage. So what brings us together today? What can I possibly help you with? And guess what, Steve? They tell me. They tell me, well, I got this old IRA. I'm looking to maybe get, to see how I can maybe do with this IRA. Maybe convert it to Roth IRA. Okay, let's see if we can help you out possibly with that. Okay, and we just go from there. And what does that do, Steve? That again sets the stage. This camera's driving me crazy. That sets the stage. I'm the professional. Guess what I don't have to do now? I don't have to sell GFI. I don't have to sell, the product providers. I don't have to sell anything. Okay? Now you can leverage those things, but you don't want to rely on those things. So leverage, but don't rely. Okay? Leverage, but don't rely. Which is why, Frankie, I was telling you what is your brand. You can leverage GFI all day long. You can leverage North American all day long. You can leverage your leadership all day long. But unless you set the stage, okay, it doesn't really matter how good those things are unless they trust you. So, Craig Duvall, what brings us together today? What can I possibly help you with? I say that almost immediately after building some rapport. Okay, this class is about getting more annuities. All right, and I see that the chat asking questions, so on and so forth. All right, by the time we're done here, you're going to see why I get and we get so many fixed index annuities. All right, so there's that article. Okay, the New York Times. There's another article out there as well. Okay, also came out a while ago in 2015, Why the 1% Love Annuities by MarketWatch. Another great article. Okay? Now, before I get too much farther into it, I want you guys to remember as well, Craig, there's two different types of fixed index annuities. All right? Well, actually, let me backtrack. There are fixed annuities. They call them MYGAs now, multi-year guarantee annuities, MYGA, M-Y-G-A, multi-year guarantee annuities. There's fixed annuities. Then there's variable annuities. Okay? In my opinion, and I sold a lot of variable annuities in my heyday when there's no such thing as fixed index annuities. They're going the way of the dodo bird because there's too many costs to them and not enough benefit. And the fixed annuities, again, have their time and in place, okay? The MYGAs, M-Y-G-A, okay? For some people who just want nothing but guaranteed fixed, but fixed index annuities are the cream of the crop. And there's two different types of fixed index annuities, Craig. There are income annuities and there are accumulation annuities. My personal favorite are accumulation annuities. Okay? My personal favorite are accumulation annuities. And I'll show you why right now. Okay. So let's get to a couple different things I actually train, that I actually talk to my clients about. All right. Oh, where did it go? There it is. Okay. All right, so the main thing that we talk about, and by the way, we've all seen this, unless you're super brand new, the 3 rules of money. All right, I'm not going to go over the 3 rules of money class, but I go over the 3 rules of money. And I tell people, Steve, okay, so Steve, what we do in a nutshell is we show you how to be able to earn between 6 and 12% on average, but also have 0 risk of the downside. How do you get that? Well, how money grows. You have the fixed way, which means you're not making any money, not losing any money. You have the variable way, which looked like one of those heart monitors at the hospital, where you can make a lot and you also lose a lot. If you look up the word variable in the dictionary, it says it's unpredictable, unreliable, undependable. But let me ask you a quick question. If you were to have a car that was unpredictable, unreliable, undependable, would that be a good car to buy? No. All right. We have a watch that was unpredictable, unreliable, undependable. Good watch to buy? No. If you have a phone that was unpredictable, unreliable, undependable, that'd be a good phone to buy. No. Some people still buy Androids. I don't understand it, but hey, whatever. Okay. So if the word variable, and if you're in the market, why would you ever want to have your retirement where it's unpredictable, unreliable, undependable? I just made the Android users mad. That was the point. I love teasing you guys. You can text me later on and it'll be pixelated, but hey, still love you. Okay. So why would you ever want to have your retirement where it's variable? If it's unpredictable, unreliable, undependable. Third option is index strategies, where as your account grows, you actually lock in the gains. And the market comes down at any point in time, you just stay flat. You don't lose any value. Okay? The third rule of money is taxes, how money gets taxed. You have the tax now, tax later, tax advantage. Tax now is where your savings accounts, your CDs, your brokerage accounts, your mutual funds come in. It's kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 3 steps forward, half step back. 1 step forward, 1 step back. Okay? Because you can make a lot in the market, you can lose a lot in the market. All right? And also you got to pay taxes on it. Then we have tax later. And follow me closely on this. We have tax later. And Craig, this is where your 401k, your 403b, your IRA, your SEP IRA, this is where these accounts come in. Now, quick question, Craig. Do you have any old 401k, any old IRAs? And he goes, yes. Okay, great. Now, roughly how much do you have in those old 401ks, old IRAs? Just roughly. Oh, about 620,000. Okay, great. What did I do? I asked him right here, Rob, do you have any old 401ks, any old IRAs? Yeah. Okay, great. Now, roughly how much do you have, really? Roughly in those old IRAs, old 401ks? Oh, about 480. Okay, great. 480. Okay. Now, Rob, part of our service is actually protecting your assets and enabling you to have guarantees your money without sacrificing growth potential and also have 0 annual fees. All right, so we can talk about that as we go, see if you qualify, okay? So what do I do not do? I don't wait till the end of the presentation to ask him financial questions. I ask as I go. Because Steve McMillan, if I make it a big deal, guess what they're going to do? They're going to make it a big deal. I'm going to get to the end of the presentation. Okay, let me take out this form and get all your information so I can see if I can help you. No, I ask as I go, and I don't make it a big deal, and then they won't make it a big deal. By the way, yeah, roughly about how much you have. Roughly about how much you have, roughly. Roughly about how much you have. I don't need to know to the penny, Steve. I just want to know roughly what they have. And they usually roughly tell me what they have. Okay? So if you make it a big deal, they'll make it a big deal. Okay? If you don't make it a big deal, they won't make it a big deal. Pretty simple. Then we have tax advantaged. Your muni bonds, your Roth IRA, your executive bonus plans, and then cash accumulation in insurance policies. When the money grows tax-free, you have access to it tax-free. In a nutshell, what we do is we show you how to be able to achieve $1 million over time, get guarantees your money, and also have that money be tax-free potentially. What we do is we show you how to go from a variable account to an index account. Okay? Piece of cake, yes? Now, then okay, I show them cash value life insurance, all these different things, so on and so forth. Okay, do you have any life insurance? I ask them as I go. Okay. Okay, let me, this is key. This is key. Okay. This is how I do it. My good friend Mark Wise, I just love you crazy engineers. Okay. And CPAs who love to complicate things. All right. This is how I do it, Rob. Okay, let me show you real quick how it works. All right. So you could do this, by the way, on the Zoom whiteboard. You could do it on a piece of paper if you're in person. Okay. Or you do it via PowerPoint. Okay. I like to do it via paper. Why is that? Because the majority of clients who have IRAs and 401ks, they're not looking for a PowerPoint. They want you to be real with them. They want you to do it the old school way. Okay? They want you to draw it out. All right. So, Steve McMillan. I'm picking on Steve because he's right there. I see him right there. All right. All right, Steve. So you look like a young man. All right. So let's say 62. Let's say we're looking at 10 years out. All right. Currently, your account's something like this, where you go up and down, up and down, up and down. All right. You go way up, and at the most inopportune moment, you might come down. Okay. Do you recognize that? Yeah. Okay, great. Well, what I'm proposing here, possibly, is the ability for you, same time frame, and your account's growing like this, like that indexing account like I was showing you. Okay? Where you don't have any downside. You have upside potential, but the market comes crashing down, you just stay flat. You don't lose any money. This is called a fixed indexed annuity, where you get guaranteed principal, okay, and guaranteed capture of the gains, and also potentially have no annual fees. Okay? You could actually opt, if you want to possibly get a bonus of 15%. All right? Usually Steve asks, well, how do you get all those guarantees? I mean, so simple, a caveman like Eric Carter can do it. Okay? So simple that even Android users could do it. Okay? Very, very simple. Again, you can do this via PowerPoint if you want. You do it on a Zoom whiteboard if you want. Okay? If you don't have the camera. All right, this is built-in camera with Apple. I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't know I had it until I bought the computer. All right. And then I do this. Let me show you real quick what your numbers look like. That's all you say, Carter? Yeah, let me show you real quick what your numbers look like. Let me show you real quick what your numbers will look like. So what do I do from there? I whip out Annuities Genius. Okay. Do a quick login. All right, create a client. So we have Joe want to retire in one of my home states of Oregon. That's where I went to high school, a little bit of college. Let's say he is 65 years old, looking to protect his money. He's not retired yet. He likes what he's doing. Looking to protect his money, so he has a choice to retire. He's going to protect himself from any kind of market corrections. All right. Let's say he has, I don't know, 627,000. He's socked the money away. Makes about 120 grand a year, 130 grand a year as an engineer. Socked the money away. Has 627,000. He wants to make sure he doesn't lose half the value in his account because he's old enough to remember 2008. Okay. I then select grow safely. And that's all I select. Create client. Now you could click this button here and click find best annuity. And the AI in Annuities Genius will help you find the best annuity. I've been doing this since Moses almost. I don't need to know what the best annuity is. I already know, in my opinion, what the best is going to be for him. In my opinion. There's two of them. There's a three of them. North American Control X. Okay. The Allianz Accumulation Advantage. And then the F&G product. I forget the name of it. We'll look it up here in a minute. Okay. With no bonus. Why no bonus? Because bonuses, there's going to be fees attached. There's going to be some strings attached. Usually it depletes the performance potential potentially. There is a time and place for bonuses, especially with refinancing of the annuities or Roth conversions. But for pure rollover accounts with new money, I go no bonus and no fee. No annual fees. Okay? So I just come right up here to illustrate. I go Annuity Illustrator. It already has Joe One Retires information up here. We're going to be rolling over from a 401k to a traditional IRA. I click Next. So again, Allianz, F&G, and North American. What's the name of the F&G product? It is Accumulator Plus 10. That's their no annual fee product. Okay? Allianz. Okay? It's going to be accumulation advantage. Well, it looks like Oregon doesn't have accumulation advantage, so North American. Control X. Go next step. So you notice, okay, so let's talk about these here real quick. You have the 1 year Barclays, you have the 1 year S&P 500, 2 year Barclays, 2 year S&P 500s. So usually I put a little bit into each. Okay. Now, Craig, this is where your competitors try to come after you. Well, look at this. You're not getting the full potential of this index. You're only getting 80% participation rate, which means what? You're only going to get 80% of the performance. Well, I want 100% of the performance. Well, okay, then you have to take 100% of the risk. So the 80% participation is how North American offsets that risk. Okay? Well, S&P 500, you're only getting 9.5%. What if the market does 20%? Okay, yeah, you're going to get capped at 9.5. What if the market does negative 25% or 22%, like it did 2022? You get zero. You don't lose anything. Okay? And also you have zero annual fees. So it is not so much how much it performs as how much you keep. If you're looking for the wild and crazy 48% rate of return with NVIDIA, okay, great. You also have to take the negative 40% when it goes down. So there's a time and place for that. Okay, I have a brokerage account with Morgan Stanley, and I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in there that I can afford to lose value in. But my retirement? Heck no, am I having that in the open market, especially if I'm in my 60s or 70s, where I can lose value in a snap of a finger. We don't know what Trump's going to do. We don't know what Iran's going to do. We don't know what Congress is going to do. Okay? So why risk it? When you can have upside potential, but absolutely zero downside risk, and also have zero annual fees. So let's look at it real quick with zero annual fees. So by the way, Control X does come with optional riders. I don't choose any of them. Because why? I want it to be zero fee. So before I show you withdrawals here in a second, let me show you the zero annual fee. Let's say that the market does zero for the entirety of the rest of Joe's life. Look at his contract value. Because there's no fees, Craig, it stays $627,000. Okay? The guaranteed minimum value, although continues to increase even though the market's not performing. That's the promise of North American. Who've been around since 1886, by the way. Do you think the actuaries of North American know what they're talking about since 1886? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's look at down here with the actual historical rates returns. Dollar for dollar go into the account. We don't charge any fees to put the money in there. And let's say it earns a 0% rate of return. His 878 is still 878 even though he gets 0 rate of return. Can a financial advisor promise that? Can a financial advisor promise a 0%? No, the financial advisor is going to charge a fee even if Joe want to retire loses. Isn't that a great deal for you, Joe? Okay. Let's go back and actually show an income. Okay. Now the financial advisor will say, Joe, Craig, Frankie, you don't want to take out any more than 4% per year out of your account. Because why? Anything more than 4, you risk of dipping into your principal. Okay? But why do they have to do that? They have to take into consideration and calculate the downside. Okay? The market goes way down, they're taking out more than 4%. They run the risk of dipping into your principal. Okay? Guess what I'm going to be able to show? 10%. So starting after 13 months, 12 months, and the 13th month, they start out taking out 10% per year. Every year, and the software only goes up to 100. Okay? So let's look at it again. 627, 627. Okay? Right here are the historical rates of return lookbacks. And this is him taking out 10% per year. Taking out 10% per year for retirement purposes. He gets down here to the 10th, 11th year. He's taking out income every single year. He gets down here to, let's say, the 20th year. He's taking out every single year. And look at his principal, Craig. $955,000. His principal grew even though he's taken out 10% per year. If it performs the way it has. Because why? There's zero fees. There's zero downside of the market. No financial advisor will beat that. Okay? Again, financial advisors have the time and place, but not for retirement. Retirement needs to have more guarantees, especially if they're in their late 50s, 60s, and 70s. They can't afford to have a big crash, which we're overdue for one, by the way, and have to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get it back. Type of one, if you heard the stories and you saw the results of people losing half their value in their account in 2008 and took in a very short period of time, and took them 3, 4, 5 years to get it back. They had to go back to work. Okay? Yeah, I know a guy who lost over 500 grand. I know a guy in Bend, Oregon. Get this. Bend, Oregon. Beautiful area. Beautiful place. Love it. You ever been to Bend, Oregon or Deschutes County? You know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been there, you need to go at least once. Gorgeous. Okay? And he had $600,000 with Morgan Stanley. His retirement. $600,000. Okay? In his retirement with Morgan Stanley. The guy at Morgan Stanley had what was called discretionary authority on his account. You know what that means, Frankie? That means the financial advisor can buy, sell, and trade without the permission of the owner. The owner gave permission to the financial advisor to make moves on his behalf without having to run things by the owner. Guess what the owner did? The owner started seeing something crazy. He started seeing, hobos and bums getting $500,000 mortgages, only needing a social security number and a cell phone. I mean, that's how crazy the mortgage thing was. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit with hobos and bums getting mortgages, but not by far. Getting $500,000 mortgages. So what did the guy do? The owner took his money out of the market. He goes, you know what? Something's going on. Something's going on. Take my money out of the market, put it into cash. A week later, unbeknownst to the owner, the financial advisor, who doesn't make fees when the money's in cash, he makes fees when the money's in the market, and had discretionary authority put him back into the market. The owner lost $300,000 plus in 90 days. Rob, he was 66 at the time. Okay. Yeah. So again, I have a very large Morgan Stanley account of funds that I could afford to lose value in. Over time, sure, it could make a lot of money. But for retirement, oh heck no. Am I going to have my money in a risky place? Okay. So the North American Control X, the Allianz Accumulation Advantage, with no fee allocations, yes, there's going to be participation rates, and yes, there are going to be caps. That's the cost, if you want to say, versus being in the open market. But I'd rather have the no fee protections, get fantastic historical rates of returns, and be able to take out 10% per year and not have to really worry about dipping into my principal. And this money here gets passed on to the beneficiaries. Or guess what? Let's say they turn 80 years old, they want to party. They go on a round the world cruise, 30 grand. They could take out their 93 plus another 30 because they still have 1.3 million in their account. Okay? Well, does it really make that much interest? Oh, well, let's look at it. Here are the historical lookbacks. The 2-year Barclays, almost 18% historical lookback. On the low side, 14.3. On the high side, 26. that you, as the owner of this account, get to have. This is after participation. The 1-year Barclays, 12%, 9.4, 15.3. The S&P 500 with the cap, well, okay, with the cap, 7.53 with the cap, average. Okay? The 2-year S&P with participation rate, 6.75. Okay? By the way, the zeros here, that means it's crediting every 2 years. Okay? Now, income rider annuities. Again, there's a time and place for income rider annuities, but for new rollovers, in my opinion, because income rider annuities, they do come with fees, fantastic products. Don't get me wrong, they've been around since Moses, I think. Okay? But they're not for everybody. Accumulation annuities are not for everybody, but they're my favorite because they're very straightforward, very easy to understand. They perform well historically. They have the guarantee principal, guarantee capture the gains. There's no annual fees. And with by the way, if you mention North American or you mention Allianz, the financial advisors, they start shaking in their boots because they know that those two companies have been around since the 1800s. They know what they're doing. They're not big risk takers. Their actuaries are pretty darn on point. Okay. They're more conservative. All right. They don't exaggerate. They don't overblow returns. Matter of fact, North American is notoriously, they have a notorious reputation of actually having lower illustration rates because they want to underpromise, overdeliver. Okay. So financial advisors, they have nothing to say. All they try to do, Craig, is like, well, you have a cap, you're not going to get all the upside. Okay. Yeah. I'd rather have a little bit of a cap to make sure I never lose value in my account. And be able to take out 8, 9, 10% per year and not to worry about dipping in my principal. So yeah, we need to roll the money over ASAP. Okay. Now financial advisors will try to come and try to convince my client, Craig, not to move the money. Okay. If they're worth their salt, they're going to try to do that. Okay. But I make sure that I help the client all the way, and I make sure that I make the 3-way phone calls to the Morgan Stanley to get the funds rolled over. Because that financial advisor is going to try to tear you down, Craig. Okay? That's a whole different class. And very good at overcoming the financial advisor's objections. Okay? Not once in my almost 27-year career have I been beat by a financial advisor if I was given a fair fight. If I was given a chance for a fair fight, not once have I been beat. Okay? I love being right. I love being right. I love it. I absolutely love being right. I love being right. I love it. I love being right. Okay? I love it. So you can rest assured you're in the right company that offers a wide array of things for different markets. And we keep things extremely simple, but then you have access to guys like me for advanced planning. And truly help your clients. Write down my phone number. If you try to call me, I'm not going to answer. Even though I love Frankie, I love Steve McMillan. If you try to call me, I'm not going to answer. Not because I don't like you, because I have a lot of stuff I'm doing every single day. Number's 408 406-2678. 408-406-2678. Okay? Even my own teammates know to text me first to try to call. Because I'm usually on Zooms. My Instagram. Go follow me there. Eric.Carter.CEO. If you have potential client that you think I might be a pretty good match for, definitely let me know. Okay, run it by your EMD, but definitely let me know. I promise you, you'll not be disappointed, and I promise you, you'll never lose integrity or respect with your clients because of me, or because of what we do, or because of our providers. Folks, I appreciate the trust you bestowed upon me for this class here today. I appreciate Eric Olson and his wisdom having me on this class today. Do me a favor, shoot me a text message, go follow me on Instagram, let me know what you got out of today's class, and let's go get a bunch of fixed index annuities, shall we? Make sure you go out there and make it happen. Try to be on the next class unless you already have a client appointment or a recruit appointment, and let's have an all-out August. Thank you very much. Take away, Me Lynn. Bye-bye.